Welcome and hello. This is a tutorial video on HEC ResSim, and in this lesson, I'm going to talk about the Reservoir editor and specifically the physical tab within the Reservoir editor, sort of as an overview. All right, so what I have on the screen here is the uh, stream alignment, computation points, and the reservoir that I just sketched out. I'm in the watershed tab. I saved it to a configuration, and then over in the reservoir network tab, I created uh, a network here based on that configuration and added in my reaches. All right, we're ready to start editing the reservoir. And to do so, we can select the black pointer arrow tool or the reservoir tool. And then we can right click on the reservoir icon and then click Edit Reservoir Properties. This brings up the reservoir editor dialog box for the selected reservoir. And we can do the same thing by going up to the edit menu at the top of the screen and clicking reservoir. All right, so what just opened up here is our reservoir editor. At the top, we have the name of our reservoir in the reservoir dropdown. Of course, this only has one reservoir, so there's not a whole lot to look at here. But you can obviously select other reservoirs. Below that, there are three tabs. There's a physical tab, an operations tab, and observed data table tab. Physical tab is what I'm going to focus on in today's video. The physical tab is used to define the physical properties of the reservoir. The operations tab is meant to define the rules and operations associated with the reservoir. And then observed data is for time series data used to compare real data with the model. All right, so anyway, back to physical. If you click physical tab, we have on the left what is called a reservoir tree. And there are two different types of elements for the reservoir. There are release elements, and that is release elements are physical features of the dam or reservoir that can take water away from the reservoir pool and put it somewhere else in the network, usually into some sort of downstream location within the network. And then the other element type is a property element, and that is described in the user's manual as some physical aspect of the reservoir, such as the size and shape of the reservoir pool. So we have a pool right here. This would be considered a, a property element. Within the physical tab on the left, we have the reservoir tree, and this is a way to organize the elements within all the reservoirs in the system. Right now, with only one reservoir, it's pretty simple. We have one reservoir. I just put it in, and this is what the reservoir editor looks like under the physical tab. So by default, I'm already provided a pool element and a dam element, but there are other elements that can be added. For example, the tailwater elevation, forebay head loss, leakage, controlled outlet, uncontrolled outlet, outlet group, power plant, and pump. So you can add those elements, and then once they're added, they automatically get added into the reservoir tree at the appropriate location. If I click on Pool on the left, over on the right, this edit panel here allows for data editing for the selected element, which in this case is the pool. Also near the top here, we see the full element name, reservoir underscore one dash pool, and then the data input. And then also at the top, there's a menu item for pool because I just selected pool here. Pool appears up as here as well with the options associated with that element type. Also, I can right click on pool and get the same menu items as at the top. The same is true with dam and any other element type. If I single left click on dam to select it, I get the full name of that element here, reservoir underscore one dash dammit stream underscore one, as well as a place to edit data. And then at the top, I have the options for actions I can take on that element. And then those are the same as if I right clicked on that element within the reservoir tree. So the reservoir tree is a map. It's a hierarchical structure for us to get an overview of the reservoirs in the system. And it's also a good way to quickly access and read and update data for the different elements for each of the reservoirs. So that's about it for this video. I just wanted to give a quick overview about the editing process for the reservoir editor, specifically the physical tab.